I grew up in Petaluma, just north of San Francisco, on a chicken ranch, egg production ranch. So I grew up gathering eggs, shoveling manure, digging post holes, all that good stuff. Decided I didn't want to stay in the business like my brother did his whole life. And so I went to UC Davis, got a degree in zoology, planned to go to med school, ended up going to seminary in Dallas, Texas, got a master's degree, became a pastor, ran churches for 30 years. I got a doctoral degree in the midst of all that. So 3.5 years ago, resigned my last church in Agora and didn't want to move out of the area because we've got a couple of grandkids, the cutest, smartest kids on the planet, hands down, and a third on the way, coming in March. So that's fun. So needed to reinvent myself. So went into the whole insurance business because it's a people helping type of situation. And I realized a lot of insurance agents are not so clear. They'll get a little confusing, speak in a language above your head, and not, sometimes try to sell you a product that maybe benefits them more than you. So, wanted to bring some real integrity to that department, clarity, patience. And so I represent life, health, dental, disability, those major areas. So I want to just share a couple things. All of us need life insurance, simply because you have a significant other or children, and if you suddenly pass off the scene, what are they going to do when your income ceases? So that's what life insurance is all about, replacing income that you're providing in case you're gone suddenly. Now, the odds of that happening are not great. Maybe it's only 2 or 3% chance that you're going to kick the bucket before your time. But you've got fire insurance on your house. You don't expect your house to burn down, but you've got it just in case, right? Same thing with life insurance. And there's different ways to go on that with the whole life and universal life and term life. So a great Valentine's gift is to renew your life insurance policy so that your loved ones will be taken care of, okay? Health insurance. We've been hearing a lot about in the news. And all the stuff dealing with the larger companies doesn't really affect us, so we'll forget about that. But just on the individual plans, Obamacare benefits those who have been sick or have been on the moderate to low income side. Those who have been healthy and wealthy are not benefiting from it. It's not more affordable, it's less affordable to them. And so the whole thing is based on trying to even the playing field to make access to health insurance available to those who previously could not have had it because they've been sick or because they can't afford it. And so in Ventura County, the major players are the PPO plans through Anthem, Blue Cross, and Blue Shield. And a lot of people get those two confused because they have blue in the name. But they're different companies in California. And when people get subsidies because their income level is at a certain rate, so if you're single and your adjusted gross income is below $46,000, you'll most likely qualify for a substantial subsidy. And the whole system really benefits boomers more than anybody else. Been with some people, a couple late 50s, husband, wife, and maybe their insurance premium is going to be $1,000, but with the subsidy, $800 comes off the top, and they're only paying a couple hundred for really good coverage. So that's kind of how that system works. But again, it's all individualized, and what you particularly need, your health history, how often you see the doctor, all that plays into it. But something that most people aren't thinking of is the networks of doctors have changed substantially since the beginning of Obamacare. Because some of doctors who used to be contracted with individual plans have opted out because the payouts are now less. And so before you sign up for a plan, make sure that your favorite doctors are in that network. Otherwise, you'll be sorely disappointed when you show up with your card, say, sorry, don't take that. Ouch. Make sure that your pharmacy you go to is a preferred pharmacy so you get the lowest rate on the copays. Make sure that the hospital you want to go to is in it. Fortunately, Los Robles finally signed contracts with Anthem and Blue Shield, so in the Canal, we're okay on that. But if you really want to go to Cedar-Sinai for surgery, guess what? They're not going to take it. So you've got to go with like a plan like Assurant that uses the Aetna network, or go to a HealthNet Bronze plan, because for some reason Cedars-Sinai decided they're going to take those plans. So all those things factor in to your decision. This actually is a little more complicated now than it used to be, unfortunately. So that's the health insurance side. And again, people often say, well, I'm just going to put it off. I can't afford it. Well, but what if something happens? What if you get that cancer diagnosis? What if you fall and break your hip? Is that going to wipe out all the assets you've spent decades trying to accumulate because you've got to pay your medical bills? So we all need health insurance as a stop loss, so that you don't have to spend more than $6,000 out of pocket to get fixed and back on the road again. So that's the basic health insurance pitch. Now let's move to Medicare. A couple of us are approaching 65, and in Medicare options, you've got basically two ways to go with that. You get your A and B through Medicare, and then you can choose an Advantage plan, which is basically you're paying less than $100 a month, but you still have some out-of-pocket risk. Or you go with a supplement plan where you're paying more than $100 a month, and in many cases, all of your medical costs are covered, nothing out of pocket after that. So those are two basic things. And then a small group. If you know owners of companies, HR managers that may have 5 to 50 employees, rather than going with the standard small group plan where everybody has to be on the same plan and the employer pays 50% and all that, there's now a new way to go about that, and that's through a defined contribution system where the employer sets a certain level, and every employee can go out and get whatever plan they want on the individual market and then get reimbursed pre-tax for part or all of their premium. So it's a way that both the employer and the employee can save money and be happy. So if you know of anybody in those situations, I'd be happy to share that plan with them. Any questions? Yes?
And I've heard that we're going to be about 40,000 doctors short with all these people coming into the system. Comments?
I haven't heard of any actual shortages yet. I don't know. It makes sense that there would be, because you've got a lot of people who haven't been on the insurance, haven't been taking care of themselves. But I haven't heard of actual statistics where there have been longer lines to get into the doctor. So I'm not sure. Yeah.
Well, I understand that you've got Blue Shield and Blue Cross, but now there's Blue Shield Cover California and there's Blue Cross Cover California.
Right.
And according to one of my clients, the doctor said if you talk about anything with affordable care or the word Obama in it, you can get the hell out.
Some doctors would take that position, right?
I was surprised, but so there's actually 4 companies.
Well, it's the same company, but they've got many different plans under them.
Division.
So some doctors will take certain plans of Anthem's, but not covered Cal plans. Yeah. So we got to be careful.
Yeah.
And know what we're going into. And if you don't really love your doctor and you're willing to go to somebody else in the network, you can save a lot of money perhaps with a subsidy and then just choose a new doctor who is under the network.
Wow.
I've heard doctors say the same thing about Medicare. Mine, for example, said, we're not taking Medicare.
Right.
What are you going to do with me when I get there?
Yeah.
I was one reason for changing.
Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to make a comment. A lot of the hospitals are hiring different doctors for different specialties. So if you're going to that hospital, you have to use their group of doctors that they have, and they're paid by the hospital.
Right. It's all economics driven. Doctors are trying to make money. Insurance companies trying to make money. So we've got to be smart and savvy to figure out the best way for you to benefit. So thank you for your attention.
Thank you.